Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Once again, this is your man Roy coming at you with a Marvel Contest of Champions video. And in this video, we are going to be taking a look at the completion path and my personal hints, tips, and tricks for 5.1.3 and 5.1.4. Now, I'm going to put this disclaimer in at the start of each of these videos that I do, that this is my personal opinion based on my own experience coming through these paths and some of the non-meta champions that exist out there. There may be one or two in there because they might just be suited to the task, but not everyone's got your Cosmic Ghost Rider, your Cap America Infinity War, your Ghosts, and all those other champions that are used to clear the vast majority of content. My suggestion will be based on who I've played, myself coming through these paths, to assist you guys in getting through Act 5 to get your Uncollected status if you haven't already got it. So let's jump straight into this. At 5.1, and we're going to look at 5.1.3. Now 5.1.3, for me personally, it seemed to be where it started to get just a little bit more difficult, not by much, but there just seemed to be more enemies to fight, and the PI just started to kind of ramp up ever so slightly. The champions become just a little bit more annoying. So the global node for Act 3 is back to being Flare. So we had that in 5.1.1, so this is where we get 300% attack, but we take 100% of max health as direct damage over 60 seconds, dependent on the class relationships. So if you haven't seen the 5.1.1 video, go back and check it out, but you basically want to have quite a diverse class range within your party, because you're only going to lose 50% of your health over that 60 seconds if you've got class advantage. But then we also have an additional one in this path other than Champion Boost and ISO infused, where we've got Special Attack Heal Block. And this is where the defender's special attacks inflict a heal block debuff and a passive Fate Seal against regen for 10 seconds. So you can't really rely too much on regen champions for this one, just because it's going to get shut down if they launch a special attack. So, if you can avoid heal reliant champions. So my personal opinion would be to take out the crossbones, and that's just dependent on the champions on the other paths. Agent Venom with his tenacity activating 50% of the time is just plain annoying. Deadpool as well, once he gets his power gain up, his regen, if you aren't bringing hard hitters, can really put you out. Spider-Gwen is just annoying as hell, so again I would avoid that path with the Plague unless you're going for exploration. Luke Cage and Doctor Strange aren't too bad, but Venom can be an absolute pain in the backside if you aren't used to fighting him. So you can take the Luke Cage path if you want to, but for me, that's 3 champions you've got to fight. Crossbones and Hulkbuster are relatively easy champions to beat, with a lot bit of patience, and it's only 2 champions. So that would be the path that I would go. Again, Hulkbuster's had his buff since I had last completed the path, so Hulkbuster's relatively easy to beat before. So again, just be wary of Hulkbuster if you're not used to fighting him. And then the path we're going to take is up to Ant-Man, so we're going to take path A. Now Ant-Man is just plain annoying, just because of his glancing ability, and he increases his attack based on missing health, but it's just a fight, it's just slow and steady, baiting out a special 1 attack. Again, I found Star-Lord really useful for Ant-Man, just because I could dodge the attacks, build up his combo level, and with each hit on that combo meter going up, we're dealing more damage as long as we're not glancing. So we're getting to the point where we're dealing silly damage, so it would certainly be one of my recommendations. Juggernaut, yeah, Juggernaut's annoying. He's had a buff again since last time, since I completed this the first time, where you now can't stun on his unstoppable, you're going to stagger. That's okay as long as you're expecting it. You can still do it to get a well-timed block to minimise the damage. You are going to take that stagger, so if you're buff reliant, it's not going to trigger. But it's just as long as you're expecting it, you know he's not going to be stunned, so don't try and launch into a counter attack that I have done so many times before myself. But as is a feature of at 5-1, She-Hulk or any other champion that affects the opponent with a slow will really come in clutch here. She-Hulk is fantastic for this path as well. So after Juggernaut, I would then come down. So taking path 8, the only one we can take. And you want to avoid that magic, guys. You know, there's no shadow of a doubt about it. So I would take Wolverine and Hulk. Both champions aren't too bad to deal with. Wolverine's a lot easier to beat now that the regen's kind of fixed rate and not a proportion as power and all the rest of it. You just watch out because his bleed abilities are more effective and he does build up resistances, so it can just be a longer fight. But again, if you're unsure, bring a bleed immune champion. And Hulk, yeah, Hulk's just slow and steady. Just get used to his animations for Special 1, Special 2, learn to dodge him in duel, and you should be good to go. And then from there, just because of the champions involved, you want to avoid Punisher, just because he does quite severe block damage with his special attacks, especially if you can't bait out the Special 1 into Special 2. And Daredevil, if you're relying on a projectile champion, then he's just going to avoid it completely. So I would go with Deadpool, X-Force and Iron Fist, just to watch out that Special 1 is unblockable and they are more aggressive champions. So that's really all to watch out with that. Iron Fist could be a little bit pain in the backside because Special 3 bias is there, but again, bringing a heavy damage champion or a power control champion will really help with that. And then the final boss is Iron Patriot. Now if you've taken that path, then you are still going to have these incoming nodes to deal with, because we haven't taken any of the path to nullify them. So he's going to have raising special attack damage by 10% for every 10 seconds that pass. Special 2 is unblockable for the first hit. When they strike into you, they're going to gain more power. Armor breakout abilities are more effective. Don't really worry too much about that one, but the first 3 can be a bit of a pain. But also the paths that those nodes are linked with are so much harder. You can deal with this Iron Patriot with those buffs as long as you're careful. Again, ideal champions to bring into this path, She-Hulk, you know, just for dealing with that. Juggernaut is absolutely fantastic. Medusa, just with her multi-hits, you know, high damage level is really good. I found personally for this path that Spider-Man Symbiote is a godsend. He has a really long armor break. It doesn't do much damage, but if for an armor reliant champion, it just applies so long. You can stack up multiple times, and his Special 2 hits hard. So it was definitely the biggest damage dealing point of view, and because we've got Flare as well, we've got that 300% increased attack, so that Special 2 damage is going to seriously knock some opponents out, and you don't need the guy awakened. I don't think have awakened my 5-star Symbiote Supreme, so my 5-star I think is only rank 2, and it was when I completed this path, but the guy deals serious damage, so that would be my recommendation. So that's 5-1-3, so let's have a look at 5-1-4 now, and this is really where it starts to ramp up. So we've got a pain in the backside Venom boss at the end. And just the nodes that we've got here as well. So the global node is Life Transfer Mystic Ward. So we're going to take 2% per second of our max health, but we lifesteal 125 of damage done. And the lifesteal percentage is affected by class relationships. So again, if you can bring in class advantage, you're going to heal more health from the damage that you do, but yeah, you can't nullify really, you know, it's a 65% chance to fail. So like the Sorcerer Supreme, Symbiote Supreme, Doctor Doom, they don't really do too much on this path, but it's a life transfer node, so you always want to try and have that class diversity as well. So the path for this one we also come up to a crossroads here. Now again, just because of the champions involved, you want to avoid Daredevil Netflix, because after his recent buff he can be a pain in the backside to fight. The other path has a few more champions. You can take the Cyclops path, but my personal preference for the path is Rocket Raccoon, and then where do we go after that? Yeah, I would probably go up against Luke Cage and Symbiote Spider-Man, just because Falcon can be a bit of a pain, so can Magneto because he can't take bleed damage, and his special attack animation has been reversed since the Magneto buffs, and War Machine we've already talked about previously that can be a real tough SOB as well. So I would go Rocket Raccoon and then up Luke Cage and Symbiote Spider-Man. And then when we come down, we're going to take path B. Now you can see here that the champions are hidden, so you won't, unless you put points into Mastery to see a space ahead. You can get maps on Google, just searching for 5.1.4 map MCOC, but the champions that we've got here are Thor, Black Bolt, Storm, Quake, Black Widow, Beast, Moon Knight and Iron Patriot. So in the main, not bad champions to fight. I would say the problem champions in there are Quake. If she gets off some of her aftershock charges, it can stun you. Black Widow, just because her ability accuracy reduction, you're not always going to stun on the parry, and she hits like a freight train, in her special attacks. And Moon Knight, just because of his evade charges. The other champions shouldn't really give you too much hassle. And the only buff that they've got in local node is the increase the duration of stun effects by 100%. So as long as you're not getting stunned by them, then there shouldn't really be any issue within there, apart from those three champions. The alternative path, if we were to go Cyclops and Cap Marvel, you can go that path as well, and then take path B. Take path B. So if we're going this path, so the local node is that bleed abilities are more effective. So as you'll imagine, a lot of the champions on this path rely on bleed. So who we've got in this path is Gamora and Groot, followed by Gwenpool, Wolverine, Magneto Red, so the more problematic of the pair, Deadpool OG I think, Ultron, Deadpool X, and Cap America World War II. So again, champions to watch out for that one. Definitely Groot, just because his ability to shrug off debuffs, he's immune to bleed and things like that anyway. The unblockable special 2, if you get him up there, it's hard to time. It can just be annoying, man. Magneto, yeah, just watch out for him. He's going to build up his passive if he's charging heavy attacks. That when he charges heavy, he's unstoppable. So yeah, he can just be a problem character to go up against. Deadpool X-Force, again, if he's awakened, so every hit that he goes on, he's going to refresh the duodenum poke, which is going to apply a constant bleed on you, and he's also got the increased power gain at 30% health. So Ultron isn't too bad, he's just got the annoying mechanic that he evades. So again, it's just to watch that. So those are the two paths that I would suggest. And then coming into the boss, we've got Venom. Now it doesn't have anything apart from the incoming, and if we haven't gone Falcon path, again Falcon's just a bit of a pain in the backside to fight against. He gets up to 20 effects. So bringing a nullified champion, you've got 45%, 35% chance to activate it. But Colossus for me really good on this path, especially for the bleed immune, and since his buff he's an absolute beast. Iceman I had, I think, rank 2 5-star at the time. Again, just really good with his immunities. Nebula for me was fantastic. If you haven't used Nebula, get using her, guys. Her ability to charge up shocks, and then launching that with a special 2 doubles them and increases the damage. You can melt so many opponents with that, and she gets a slight bonus attacking robots as well if she's got at least 1 charge. So Nebula's a champion seriously underrated for this path. Red Hulk as well, again, just because he has a chance to convert the bleed into an incinerate charge, to deal increased energy damage. Venom the Duck as well, if we're going down some of the paths, you're building up those charges. You've got Fury, you've got Regen, and you've got Power Gain, for the 3 main ones. Venom the Duck, guys, really good champion for this path as well. Venom Pool can work by spamming, especially against the Venom boss. Just spamming special 1 is going to nullify one of the buffs and give you a regeneration charge as well. So it's a bit of a longer fight because Venom Pool sucks ass in terms of his damage output, but his utility for that fight can be really useful. So that's 5.1.4 in the bag, taking one of those 2 paths. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, guys. The disclaimer at the start, as always mentioned, this is my personal preference and my personal hints, tips and tricks. You can agree with them, you can disagree with them and make alternate suggestions, but it's purely my observations from how I've played the game, the champions I had in my roster at the time, and my experience playing the game. So if you did like the video, guys, hit the thumbs up, make sure and put a comment in if you enjoyed it, if you want to see something else, or just what champions you used for completion to aid others watching the video, and make sure and hit the subscribe button so that you get notified when any of these new videos come out. So thanks for watching, guys, take care, all the best, and we'll speak soon.